Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. Can exercise help you live to 100 plus, 115, 120? Can it do it? 100% yes. And let me explain. First and foremost, you have longevity experts saying that exercise can only help you live to an average lifespan, but when it's for exceptional longevity, exercise is meaningless. Okay, absolutely wrong. As an initial matter, there's no such thing as a longevity expert in the universities. Okay, there's no such thing as a PhD longevity expert. All they're sharing is information that they are interpreting wrong. And let me explain, because I'm going to show a study following this video. I'm going to show a study to prove my point. Okay, the reason why people don't live to exceptional longevity with exercise, they claim exercise doesn't do anything, is because all the people can't work out. So the reason why they don't live that long is because they can't exercise. And the outliers, the centenarians that are active, the primary reason they are still active is because of exercise. If you are able to continue exercising, in other words, even if you're an elite athlete in your 20s and 30s and 40s, you are not spared from old age unless you continue daily exercises for the rest of your life. Let me explain what I mean here. We lose, when we get into our 50s, 60s, 70s, everyone, if you don't train, you lose lung function. You lose VO2 max, one. You lose muscle strength, muscle power. You lose all this. Okay, if you don't, this is why people get discouraged when they get older. They stop moving around because they can't move around. People in their 90s, 80s, 90s, they are frail because they don't exercise. If you continue to exercise, the objective is to maintain youthfulness. You have to maintain it. Okay? When you got to continue doing it from your 20s all the way to your hundreds. That's the formula. Okay? And you will live longer, because the study I'm going to show you is going to tell you in black and white. They were talking about this in the 1800s. Okay? This was mentioned in writings in the 1800s about exercise being the primary reasons why centenarians, certain centenarians are active and certain are not. Only about 16% of centenarians are independent. The rest depend on people to help them. Okay, and there's another only about 6% of centenarians can think correctly and have a decent memory. Okay, they don't tell you about this. Centenarians die of chronic diseases. They don't die of old age. And the ones that last the longest, the healthiest, the more active, is the ones that exercise. So let's get right into the study, and I'm going to show you what I mean. Maybe I'll get through some of you. Exercise is what will make you live exceptional longevity if you are able to continue exercising at a youthful level. Let's get into the study right now. Let's go. Longevity and health span is not just about good genes, but also about how we live our lives, especially when it comes to staying active. In fact, even in ancient times, the great Roman philosopher Marcus Tullius Cicero recognized the power of exercise and moderation in maintaining vitality even in old age. Certain physical traits like strength, oxygen intake, and exercise capability decline as we age, setting off a chain reaction that can affect our overall health. However, some extraordinary individuals challenge this norm. They are centenarians, those who have reached the remarkable age of 100 and beyond. These living examples of successful aging defy the odds and shed light on the factors contributing to their longevity. Back in 1899, T.E. Young, an author, authored a manuscript that explored the potential factors of centenarian longevity, revealing principles like moderation, genetics, and physical activity as crucial elements even a century ago. He notably wrote that outdoor exercise was a critical factor for centenarians. Fast forward to today, and the number of centenarians is growing significantly faster than the global population, thanks to improved living standards and medical breakthroughs. But what is it that sets centenarians apart? Contrary to common belief, they don't simply die of old age. Many live with chronic diseases, yet their unique profile distinguishes them from the younger counterparts. Recent studies have highlighted the positive influence of regular exercise on the health and independence of centenarians, prompting me to ask, how does exercise impact their well-being? How does their physical capacity look like? And how does this all tie into their remarkable longevity? In this video, we are going to explore these questions and more. Centenarians are not independent and need help with daily activities. Even though it's not uncommon for some people who are over 100 that can still do things like work and play sports, but these are examples that are rare. Studies show that only 16 out of 100 people who are over 100 years old can do things independently, like daily tasks. Most of them need some kind of help. Also, very old people have trouble with brain function. Only 6 out of 100 that are over 100 years old can think and remember things very well. That's discouraging. So what factors impede older people from having the motivation to exercise? What is it that stops them? Living a long life depends on factors like your genes, healthcare, and how you take care of yourself. In other words, even if you were a world-class athlete in your prime, Father Time won't spare you, and you will age like any other person if you do not exercise for life. Even if you held the title of the fittest person on the planet in your prime, you take 1 month or so off, do nothing, and poof, that peak fitness you sweated years for vanishes into thin air. And if you go AWOL from exercise for years, well, you're basically back to square one like someone who never hit the gym before. And that's the trap most people, even the elite athletes, fall into as they get older. Staying active and fit is vital for health span and lifespan. However, numerous factors discourage and interfere with how well your body can handle exercise as you continue to age. For example, your lungs don't work as well because they lose their elasticity. This can make it harder to breathe during exercise. It's like what happens to people with breathing problems when they experience breathing problems, like people with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD. Similar feeling. Another one is blood flow, and how well your heart pumps are also crucial. When you're older, your blood doesn't flow as easily to your muscles, and your heart might not pump as strongly as before. This can make it harder to do physical activities as you get into your 50s, 60s, and beyond. Then you have those tiny blood vessels called capillaries, which help get oxygen to your muscles. These might not work as well as you age, affecting how much oxygen your muscles get. Muscle loss is another thing that happens as you get older. Your muscles shrink, especially in your thighs, where they decrease in size by 24 to 27% between the ages of 20 and 70. This can make it harder to do something like walking or getting around, let alone running or jumping. Forget that. Research shows that specific type of muscle fibers called type 2 fibers can shrink more with age than the type 1 fibers. A study found that at the age of 80, the type 2 fibers were 26% smaller than those who were 20 years old. On the other hand, the size of type 1 fibers don't change. As people get older, they lose the fast type 2 muscle fibers, and this makes their muscles work a bit slower, without power and without speed. The type 1 is for slow, and you maintain those slow movement. So during aging, your ability to exercise and stay active decreases because lung changes, blood flow issues, muscle loss, and how your cells use oxygen. Understanding these changes can help us figure out how to stay independent and healthy as we age. The objective is to understand and prevent these problems. So, how does aging affect exercise? You see, I didn't say how exercise affects aging. How does aging affect exercise? Understanding how aging affects how much exercise we can do can be learned by looking at still active centenarians. Some keep working and doing sports even at such an old age. When scientists investigated what helps these centenarians stay active, regular exercise was the most important and makes them less likely to have health problems. Go figure. For example, a study in Japan looked at 1,970 people who were over 100 years old. They found that those who were more independent and had better health were the ones who were more physically active. Being active helps their heart stay strong as they get older. Another study, they looked at 153 centenarians and measured how strong their leg and hand muscles were. It's interesting because the normal strength ratio between legs and arms changes in centenarians. In younger people, leg muscles are stronger than arm muscles, but in centenarians, leg muscles are weaker compared to their arm muscles. This change might be because they lose muscle more slowly in their arms than they do in their legs. And even if they're independent and don't need help, they tend to move around less. This is because their bodies don't move as much as they used to, which may be the cause of the loss of muscle mass in their legs. Breathing is also vital for exercise. Another study found that centenarians' lungs didn't work as well as those of the younger people, both at rest and during exercise. This made it harder for them to get oxygen during physical activity. It was difficult for them to get enough oxygen. Interestingly, in another study, when they looked at how well these centenarians did on a cycling exercise test, they found that they used less oxygen for the same amount of work compared to the younger people. This is probably because they become more efficient at using their muscles. They don't need to use their lungs as much, but their lungs didn't work very well because doing exercise, which might have limited their ability to do really intense activities. It's also important to mention that how strong someone's hand grip is and how well they do on an exercise test are very connected. Centenarians who did better on the exercise test also had stronger grips. This is a sign that being physically strong and active helps them stay healthier and more independent as they age. Getting older is a slow biological process that happens from the smallest parts, our cells, to our biggest systems, our organs. It's known for making changes to our bodies that keeps happening as we grow older. Some of these changes are things we can't avoid, and they make our bodies work less well, like our lungs not working as well and our muscles getting weaker. We might also gain weight and our muscles change in ways that aren't helpful. But other things can happen as well as we get older, like problems with our bones and our cognitive function. That can make it harder for us to move around and do things. All of these changes together can make older people more fragile and less able to adapt to new things, which is important for staying healthy as we age. Think of aging like a giant web of things affected by our genes and how our bodies work. The graph right now shows all the factors that can make aging go well or not so well. And it points out how well our muscles work and how active we are plays a significant role in this. In conclusion, simply exercising is not enough. People need to combine exercise with a healthy diet and overall good lifestyle choices. It's not just about how exercise impacts aging, it's also about how aging can affect our ability to exercise. By staying fit as we get older, we can delay diseases and the aging process, leading to a longer and healthier life. The challenge is that most people struggle to stick with such a strict routine because they lack the motivation and drive. It's not an easy task, or else everybody will be doing it. I'm doing it, but it's not easy. If older individuals could exercise as effectively as young people, they could significantly delay age-related diseases and potentially live well beyond 100 years. I hope you found this information helpful. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. I certainly did. It certainly opened my eyes. Exercise is king. Nutrition is queen. Put them together and you got a kingdom, baby. Have a great day. Stay healthy, everyone, and see you in my next video.